My name is Nursha Shuhada binti Mazuki. Today I want to interview a few people to ask them about GST. GST, Good and Service Tax, which is also known as VAT or the Value Added Tax in many countries, is a multi-stage consumption tax on goods and services. GST was introduced on 1st April 2015. GST involves all kinds of groups, students, working people, and the unemployed. Can, can be said to involve all buyers. Among the items subject to GST related to the students are computer, mobile phone, domestic items, and prepaid cards. GST have a major impact of students because students will acquire the needs to learn and may be subject to GST. In turn, it will affect to the student economy.
What do you know about GST? Okay, from my knowledge that I know about GST, which is I read from the news or heard from the information of my lecturers, GST means goods and service taxes, which is in the other countries such as Hong Kong, Singapore, they had applied this GST to their country. But our country had applied this GST on 1st of April 2015. Okay. Do you agree with the GST? Okay, from my point of view, I agree with the GST because GST has their own good benefits to our society and individuals itself. Why I'm saying like this? Because from the amount of 6% GST that we take from the citizen, it can be used to improve our basic necessities such as transportation, our infrastructure, our hospitality, our education. Okay, let's say I take a transportation as one of main example. Okay, in our country, which is a public transportation, it quite lack in rural areas such as it's not really rural area for me, such as Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu. They are lack in KTM, which is it can be improved by using the 6% of GST that we collected, that the government had collected. So by increasing the more public transportation, it also can reduce our daily expenses on transportation instead of using our own car or own motorbike. We can use more on public transportation like the other countries such as Japan. They have used effectively
What
on
are the impacts of GST to UMT students?
Okay, from what I heard before from my friends or the other student in UMT itself, they have an issue in the GST, which is they think GST is a burden for them, and I also think the same way as they think. This is because it can affect our expenses, but we as a student, we as a first class level of student, we should think in a long term for our Malaysian economy instead of for a short term. We can find an alternative way to increase our day and to increase our expend and I mean our money in expend in our daily life by business or any kind of thing that can increase our money instead of ban completely of GST.
Okay. The last question is, can you tell me how to solve this problem? Okay. From my point of view of student, I can't think for overall for the country, but I think of myself. They say the 6% GST is a burden for us. So why not you reduce your expenses instead of buying all those things which is not important. Buy according what you need instead of what you desire of. Okay, thank you, Shifa.
So, I can conclude that Shifa agree with GST. She also suggests that the UMT students must think the alternative ways by limiting their expense according to their needs. Instead of completely disagree with transformation that government had made. Hi Akila, do you know about GST?
What I know about GST is GST is goods and service tax that our government had applied on our country.
Do you agree with GST?
I'm so sorry to say that I am not agree with that.
Why? Can you explain it?
For me, when they apply that GST, which every single step of production, they will uh, they will cost to pay for that. So manufacturer will have to increase their price of product, which will also affect consumer. The most affected consumer is like us,
Yes.
final consumer, and mostly very bad affected is people who live with medium income to live on. They need to pay more to buy even basic necessity for their life.
What are the impacts of GST to UMT students?
What can I see the impact of GST for UMT students? We as a student, we need to pay more for every single thing that we buy. The closest example for me is our prepaid card. For like we said before this, if you want to buy like 10 ringgit of Maxis top up, you just have to pay that 10 ringgit only. But then now you have to add up 60 cents. Even uh, even when you have to pay once, you may say like it's okay, but then you need to pay that every single time you buy that. Furthermore, it's not only about prepaid card. It may be about your basic necessity like your food, your toiletries, your books, whatever like that.
Okay. Can you tell me how to solve this problem?
For me as a student, I think that I need to limit my expenses and I need to plan my budget. Like for this month, I have to spend a certain amount for my expenses. Then, if I had exceed that limit, then I need to do something.
Okay. Thank you, Akila.
Thank you too.
As a conclusion, certain students agree with GST, but another else might. However, GST helps nations' economy to increase, and it doesn't seem to burden student life. I'm Nosha Shuhada with Team Azuki, reporting for ESC Live.